Hello, I am Azure, and I will be providing a little bit of commentary on my completion of Final Fantasy X's no sphere grid, no summons, no customization, no overdrives, no escaping, no encounter equipment, and no Blitz Ball challenge. That mess of stuff really means that no sphere grid, so no base stats, no abilities, or the only abilities we have are the ones you start with. No customization means the only gear we can use are anything we found in, like, as a treasure or a chest, as well as anything that can drop. No customizing after that. No overdrives means what it says. It makes it so Riku's mixes like Trio 999 don't just face roll the entire challenge. No escaping and no encounter equipment being banned. Means that we have to actually take each fight and win them. Can't just escape and say, I don't want to deal with this Behemoth King. Nope, you got to deal with it every time. Every time. And no Blitzball prevents early game dark matter farming, which would just trivialize a lot of the early game and not be very fun since you just do so much Blitzball just for one or two of them. Anyway, let's see. As this initial cutscene is going and starting, I'm going to put a timestamp when the fight actually starts. So feel free to skip to that if you want to skip that and hearing me talk. As a heads up, this fight I will be using RNG manipulation to know who Braska's final Aeon, aka BFA, is going to attack in any given turn. If you're not okay with that, that's cool with me. You can. That's still bigger. Okay, but I'm doing that. Yeah, so I guess phase 1. What do you need to know about phase 1? Well, BFA has 2 attacks. Well, 3 really. That you're ever going to see. First one is his arm punch, which does a bunch of damage and kills anyone who doesn't have, like, protect, double HP, is named Auron, etc. And his other attack, used about a third of the time, well, is Jex Beam, which does about 700 or 800 damage, and is magic and petrifies. As a result, pretty much everyone on the team currently has stone-proof armor. The only one who doesn't is Auron, who has auto Phoenix armor gotten from Greater Sphere, gotten from 255 turns of Doom stalling. So that's fun.
Pretty soon I'm gonna be Sin.
Yeah, I guess as far as weapons are concerned, Tidus, Yuna, and Kimari, if we want it, have alchemy. Rikku also has alchemy, but Rikku has better things to do in her turns. Auron has Zombie Strike. Kimari also has Zombie Strike. And Waka and Lulu both have Sensor. They don't really have jobs in this fight, so we just put them on Sensor. And yeah, that's as much as I can do. You'll note in the upper right-hand corner, I've got a list of each character, their index as far as the part of the game is concerned, and their role, how I'm going to be using them this fight. Kimari, we'll get to that in a second. Tidus is not really used a whole lot. He's got alchemy, which is nice. We'll want to make sure he has haste for phase 2, and we're going to use his 2 talks to stall out the very end of the fight. Yuna has alchemy, and she's going to be the floor tank for any attacks that attack party slot 0, aka the first one. More on that in a bit. Auron has a lot of roles. He's almost always alive. He'll have auto Phoenix, so he'll be like picking people up a bunch. He's got Zombie Strike, because BFA is vulnerable to zombie. If we see any sword swipes in phase 2, which, spoiler, we don't, it's his job to tank them and res the entire party. In order to do that, we want to get him in haste, protect, and double HP for phase 2. Kimari, I don't end up using him this fight at all, but in general, he's a second Zombie Strike or a third Alchemy, if needed. Waka, I chose him as my person who eats any attacks on party slots 1 or 2 for the most part. More on that in a bit. and he's my general sensor user, because there a lot of the time this fight is spent just sitting there waiting for the right moment. And then Lulu is not useful at all. And then Rikku, who's always alive, and she starts with Stone Proof Armor, but I'm gonna switch over to Auto Phoenix soon. So the fight begins. Our first goal is going to be to figure out what RNG seed we are on. In the PlayStation original version, there were many seeds. I think millions or more. Yeah, there's a lot. However, when they ported it over to PC, they like zeroed out one of the important variables that determines how like the seeding function works or something like that. And as a result, only 256 seeds are even possible. So, knowing like basically what we're going to do is we're going to eat 5 to 7 attacks or so, and after that we'll know what seed we're on. So after that first attack on Rikku, aka Party Slot 2, there's only 80 seeds left. So the way it works is there's like a large 8 or 9 digit number, roughly, that the game basically takes a modulo operator, modulo 3, and gives results of 0, 1, or 2 for the 0th, 1st, or 2nd party slot. It's basically dependent on the character index in the upper right hand corner, right? The character with the lowest index is in the initial party slot. The character with the highest index is in the highest slot, and the character in the middle index is in the middle slot. So in this current party with Tidus, Rikku, and Auron, it would go Tidus, Auron, Rikku. So any attacks that are on slot 0 would hit Tidus, anything on slot 1 would hit Auron, anything on slot 2 would hit Rikku. So yeah, that's how single target attacks work in this game, unless there's other conditions, which some enemies do. Some, like the dogs, only attack enemies that are below his HP, and there's other things, but with BFA here, he just hits a random single target every time, so that's great, with his arm push and his eject beam. So now with that 4th attack on Tidus, I believe, if I'm right, that means we're down to, 4 different RNG seeds. Another attack on Tidus brings us down to 2 possibilities, and after the next attack, we will know what we are on. After that, next attack is done, and we know what RNG seed we're on. I'm going to put a second overlay up on the screen, but I'm going to wait until after Jack's Overdrive to explain what everything needs in it. For a lot of this run, there's going to be kind of gaps in movement that I'm doing. That's not RNG manipulation. That's just me like logging what the enemy's doing, figuring out what I want to do next, thinking. So nothing fancy going on there. As I said, I'll explain the tracker that just popped up on the right of the screen after it ejects Overdrive, and it starts attacking like normally again. For damaging BFA, I want to leave its Youth Pagodas alive until Phase 2, so we're going to be tagging Blessed Gems in the meantime. We're not in a rush to get BFA down. BFA Phase 1 is easy, with the right setup and right preparation. But we don't need to use Dark Matters or anything that has AoE on it. Okay, so explain the tracker. So column A there is like the number of the RNG value that we're using at the time. So we're about to use RNG value 9. Sorry, well, in RNG 4, we're using the 9th value, which says go attack the 0th target, which is slot or column B there is just what I put in to help me remember what's happened. I found it a lot easier to track this if I was writing it down while doing it. Otherwise, it'd be easy to forget where I was. So, yeah. Column D there is the target. It's what the target of the next attack is going to be. For example, you can see on where I am, the next target is target 0. And indeed, Yuna, which of these 3 people, is target 0. Next up is target 1, so it should be the party member with the middle index, whoever that ends up being. I'm going to let it be Auron this time, so Auron will take this next attack. But moving forward, I'm going to try to avoid Auron dying. I think I mess up once or twice where I didn't need to, but going forward I'm going to try to ensure that Auron doesn't die. Same thing with Rikku. Riku's more important though. And speaking of Rikku dying, the next attack that BFA will use is on party member 2, which would be Rikku. However, for some reason, Triumphant Grasp rolls RNG4 twice, so we're going to skip right past the RNG value that we're on and go to the next one anytime that BFA uses the Triumphant Grasp Overdrive. So you'll see he grabs Yuna instead of Rikku. So it's a cute little way to skip a RNG value you don't like. But here we can't skip this target 2 coming up. So target 2 is about to be hit, so we need to make sure target 2 is someone that we can spare. In this case, it is Wakka. Wakka was chosen really for the reason that he has the highest agility between Auron and Rikku. Like, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, in that list, if you're putting someone above Auron, Wakka's faster than Kimahri and Lulu, and we're pushing Rikku out, so that Wakka is kind of the perfect sacrificial pawn in that case. Column F there, where it says like start P2, I'll get to that in a little bit, but that basically tells me, hey, is now a prime time to try to go for a win? Can I push the boss into phase 2 now? And again, I'll go a little bit more into what that's calculating a little bit later. For now, though, we are simply bringing BFA down to being 1 hit from phasing, as well as getting all of our preparation up. So what we're going to want for phase 2 is haste on Tidus, which I think is just required to get the 2 talks back to back when you need it. Typically I go for haste on Kimahri too, just to have another haste user in the back, just in case. I didn't end up doing it this run, I think by accident. But I don't often use it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. As mentioned earlier, I want haste, protect, and double HP on Auron. Didn't end up being useful at all in this run. But if BFA had done any sword swipes, I'd have a chance of being able to salvage it because I have those up on Auron. Because with protect and defend, like between protect, defend, and power break, you need 2 of those 3 to survive. Well, not necessarily, but you want at least 2 of those 3 active to survive a sword swipe with enough HP to continue. You also really kind of want regen because you don't have a lot of turns to heal. Forgot to put that up there, but you typically want regen on Auron as well. Didn't end up mattering because no sword swipes, fortunately. Okay, so I've got BFA down to 4-digit HP. Cool. Ready to take down whenever I want him to. The U Pagodas are going to heal it. a little bit over time, but I will just make sure it's kept down lowish. So it's now time to prepare for phase 2. And this is what's going to take the majority of the video. So, as we mentioned, we want haste on Tidus, we want haste on Kimahri as a maybe, we want haste protect, double HP, and regen on Auron, and of course haste on Rikku. I also like putting double HP and shell on Rikku, just in case she has to take an attack. You can hope that it's Check Beam and live. But anyway, in addition to that, you really need BFA's first attack after phasing into phase 2 to be always Overdrive. The reason for that is because in phase 2, BFA gets another attack, Sword Swipe. Uses the bow to 5th of the time, and if you can survive it via the prep and aura I mentioned before, but it's really you don't want to have to. So anyway, moving on. The first move that BFA uses in phase 2 is Sword Swipe unless he has a full Overdrive gauge. So, of course, what you have to do is ensure that he has full Overdrive gauge for his first attack. So that involves a bit of manipulation. It's also, like, BFA can be affected by zombie and poison, so if you can, like, send him into phase 2 with those effects already active, that's exceptional. I ended up not doing so in this run. Well, he had poison, but it was immediately healed before it mattered, so effectively didn't get either of them up before phasing. But yeah, that's stuff you can do. So back to column F on the right. You'll note I have like wait for and bam. Bam is when I'm allowed to try for a win. I decided to force myself to wait for a time when Rikku wasn't attacked 4 times in a row. I prefer more than that, and didn't end up needing more than that this run, but it's just to be safe. Yeah. I also, during this part of the fight, like to have Rikku have the Rikku have the Auto Phoenix equipment. If Riku's never being attacked, then she doesn't need Stoneproof, and it's easier to keep Rikku in the party throwing her things and doing what she needs to do, rather than it is to keep Auron in the party. While we're waiting for a proper time to actually phase transition, which will be a bit, I want to give some shout-outs real quick, people who really helped out. So I wanted to give big shout-outs to Zzanmato, who wrote a comprehensive guide on this on GameFX, probably like 15 years ago or more at this point. When I first saw that guide, it's like, I want to do that. That sounds cool. Didn't end up doing it until 15 years later, but hey, you know, better late than never. And honestly, it would have been tough to do it without today's knowledge of RNG manipulation, without spending a lot more time into this. And I want to thank everyone who helped them out with making that. So like everyone on their thank you list is on my thank you list as well. I'll put a link to the description of this video of their FAQ. Thanks to Birdman for their ultimate companion guide. Use that primarily to help out with like the flowcharts that determine what enemy AI is doing at any point in time. Very helpful, especially for BFA. Give thanks to a lot of people on the FFX speedrunning Discord for discovering and documenting information on how RNG works. I'm a lurker there. So I don't know everyone that contributed to everything, and I'm also new. Nonetheless, there are 2 big people I wanted to give thanks to. One's Greyfox, who directly helped with this BFA kill by providing RNG 4 values upon request to someone who's effectively just some rando who just popped by one day. So big thanks, thank you so much. In their paste bins they have a bit on how to actually use RNG4 too, so double help. Also, thanks to CrimsonInferno, who maintains a Google Doc that has a whole bunch of information on RMG12 values, which are used for NNE drops. Speedrunners use it for getting ghosts to drop no encounter armor, well, whatever, no encounter gear. I used it to help out making Greater Sphere drop a Phoenix bracer, because I fought that thing 14 plus times and it never did. So yeah. Also, just to know when Don Tonberry is going to drop a weapon that I wanted. So thanks to them and everyone who's helped them and everyone who's worked with them, and probably other people that I don't know of. Sorry. In any case, for now, there's not a whole lot going on until we actually end up phasing. So I'm going to put a timestamp in the description to when I start talking again. But yeah, really we're just waiting for around turn 40 something, where there's a larger gap of Rikku not getting attacked. So I will be back. Hello again, welcome back. Just finally phasing BFA into phase 2, 15 or so turns later. Just gotta wait for the right time. In this case, that is this, as you can see, upcoming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 set, or 6 non-Rikku attacks. Though 2 of those are going to be used up on the Overdrive that's coming up, but not a whole lot I can do about that now. So, I've got to make sure that I don't finish off the Pagoda that's going to put BFA into Overdrive, so the first attack has to be a Blessed Gem as a result. A little bit unoptimal, but it's a price I pay for having the timing of the push that I wanted. I feel like optimally, you'd the first one be the Supreme Gem, and then Dark Matters to spam the rest of the fight. But it worked out, so hooray. This is the Overdrive on Yuna, which blows to the RNG value, so I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. It'll actually end up being 3 due to a factor outside my control, but we'll get to that in a bit. So yep, Supreme Gem to take out the Pagodas, and we're sacrificing 3,000 HP on BFA in order to make it so that the next time the Pagodas spawn, we can take them out immediately with Dark Matter. So Yuna takes the attack that we knew was coming for her. Note that in any one of these attacks that BFA does, there's a 20% chance that he will Sword Swipe, and in the current state, without Auron in the party, I would die. So, really hoping that doesn't end up happening. I get Auron in the party, and here's my chance to get Zombie Strike on BFA. I actually made a mistake here. I ended up using Power Break, and I think I should have used a regular attack, because Power Break is useful for surviving sword swipes more easily, but I've kind of already, I'm going with the assume he'll never use it and then pray he doesn't strategy. And if this hadn't zombie struck, I never got another chance to apply zombie, and I ended up needing the zombie damage. So the slowness from Power Break being a rank 4 attack might have mattered if I hadn't zombie struck on that attack. But I was lucky, so hooray. So according to my tracker, there's only 2 more attacks that BFA has until it uses an attack on Rikku. Just checking HP here. BFA transitions to its final phase after it goes below 60,000 HP. And after that point, 2 out of every 3 attacks are Sword Swipe, and we cannot afford to survive that for any amount of time. So here, that attack shows on Yuna, and I think it's supposed to be on Auron. Greyfox did mention that crits might have caused some of the values to be a bit incorrect, so at this point I'm kind of, don't have a whole lot of visibility on the future, but I don't need to, because as it turns out, BFA will not get a single another turn. So I'm going to phase it right now, and then use Tidus's 2 talks to steal 2 of BFA's turns. And really it's just a mad dash to the end at this point. There we go, so BFA's next attack will be nullified, as we keep throwing Dark Matters and hoping that it's enough. Second talk, third one doesn't do anything. So from here on out, it's just the victory lap. Hooray! There is a concern though. If one of these Pagodas had a turn, and not killed by the Dark Matter like this one on the left was not killed, it was possible for them to go attack Rikku or do something that would cause something bad to happen. Fortunately, they didn't get a turn, and at this point, boss has 13,000 HP left, so some Mega Potions and a Dark Matter will finish it off. And again, the reason we had to spend Tidus's talks in the second half is because we can't survive two every three attacks being sword swipe, which is what he does once he hits 60,000 HP. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.